another recent case happened in Johor. Can you explain to our viewers what happened?
I think the case in Johor is death in custody in Johor, and police arrested this guy and allegedly that he possessed firearms. Yeah, and then he was arrested, and then they went to his house, but they couldn't actually find the firearms, and then eventually he died in police custody. And during the course of the investigation, they also called up his father. And during the investigation, they actually showed the guns. Yeah, the police showed the guns to the father, and
why do they need to show the police? Why did the police need to show the gun to the father?
Yeah, it's totally unnecessary, and this is amounting to criminal intimidation.
What did the father do?
Father.
Did the father do anything threatening?
The father didn't do anything because he was in a police station, and he was asked to give a statement to help the police in the investigation. And so there is really not necessary for the police officers to show the guns to the father, and this can only mean that they are trying to threaten him and intimidate him to probably confess that his son got firearms in his possession. And this is very problematic because the job of the police is to gather evidence, scientific evidence, to prove their case in court, and it's not through coercion and intimidation, threatening the witnesses. Yeah.
How did he die in the under police custody? Was there any evidence found that he has bruises or anything?
Yeah, he was found dead, and the father was saying that he was very healthy, a young guy.
How old was he at the time?
I think he was in the 20s. Yeah. And he was young and healthy, and but suddenly, the police claimed that he suffered some sickness, and he died. So now
this includes the 200 over people who died under the police custody. They are all having heart attack. They were having heart attacks. So
there are many reasons given by police in this kind of cases. One, normally they'll deny that there has been foul play, and they'll attributed the cause of death to either the detainees committed suicide
like
during police custody, and also either they fell, they met accident in police custody, or they have diseases, sickness, before coming into the police lockup, and then they died because of their own sicknesses. So a lot of times, the police just wash their hands off from all these cases.
It is not just police, right? Like, for example, Beng Hok died under MACC's custody.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that?
Well, the case of Teo Beng Hok is well publicized, which is good. And he was called up by MACC to help in an investigation of a case of corruption, and then he was called up for investigation in the evening, and then the next
as a
day,
witness, right?
Yeah, as a witness, and then the next day he was found dead, and allegedly jumping from the MACC building, and fell to his death. Yeah.
Committing suicide.
And committed suicide. Yeah. In this case, but there are a lot of very suspicious circumstances. And also the question was raised, how can he actually jump off the building when he was with the presence of so many MACC officials in the room, and there were injuries on his body. And initially the inquest was done, and it was open verdict conclusion. That means his cause of death is that he committed suicide. But the family eventually filed a case and pushed for a royal commission of inquiry into the death, and then subsequently they also filed a civil suit against the police.
Why civil suit?
Against the MACC and the government. Yeah. So in this case, the Court of Appeal actually say that there is involvement of the MACC officials that contributed to his death, and they overturned the decision of the magistrate. Yeah.
One question, I think it's quite interesting that we need to point out that many of these cases, when the family members wants to seek justice,
Yeah.
they file for a civil suit.
Yeah.
And there are not many cases. How many so far are there?
From what I know, it is only several cases where family members actually resort to civil suit, yeah, in suing the government and the police.
But in the first place, why the Attorney General did not take up all these cases, and it has to be filed by family members under civil suit?
Ideally it should be the AG chambers to prosecute police officers involved in these cases. But the problem is that the AG chambers they act based on the post-mortem report of the death of detainees, and a lot of times the post-mortem report will come out with a conclusion of undetermined or open verdict kind of conclusion, and that would eventually effectively free the police officers from the responsibility of the death of detainees, even though they have the duty to take care of all detainees in their custody, because according to the lockup rules, they need to have medical checkup of the detainees. They need to attend to any complaints of sicknesses. If the detainees complain, they have to be brought to hospitals for treatment. They have to be touring the lockup to see everybody, all those detained in the police lockup are okay. These are their responsibilities, and they cannot run away from the responsibility. But the problem is the AG chambers only act based on the post-mortem report. And secondly, also the other problem is a lot of these investigations are done by the police themselves. That means they are investigating themselves, and this doesn't give any accountability or credibility to the investigation, because the police will have the tendency of covering up for their own colleagues. And that's why we really need an independent oversight mechanism to check the abuses of police, and then only the report of investigation will be credible. That should be submitted to Attorney General Office, and the Attorney General Office have to act on this outcome of the report, and to actually prosecute, bring these police officers to court.